And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, another week has come and gone. And what that means is it's Friday, November 3rd. And what's good about that is it's single release day here on the Backstage Pass here, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, out there in Honky Tonk, Texas. You can also find us powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com and out there across all those digital platforms, wherever you find podcast and internet radio at hightidecountry.net. Well, with that new single release, November 3rd, pleased to have one of the best in the business doing it right now, joining us here on the show. Lauren Weintraub here. Lauren, what's going on?
Not much. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you being here. So let's talk about this single. Go ahead and give everybody the title. It's out today. I love it because every Friday my email is just bombarded with single releases. But this is a fantastic song. Tell us all about it. And, of course, the writing, the lyrics, and who you got to work with on this track.
Yeah, so this song's called If You're Gonna Break My Heart. I wrote it with two of my dear friends, Daniel Ross and Jesse Joe Dillon, on a little writing retreat out in Sonoma, California, which isn't, too shabby of a life. And I think it was the last song we wrote while we were there. It was like 10 p.m. We'd had a lot of wine and we were getting emotional because everything we'd written before that was kind of, a banger. And I was like, I think it's time to write a sad song. So we, just exploited the drama as we usually do and wrote this song, and I love it. And I haven't really released anything like it. So I'm just really, really excited about it and happy it's out in the world.
How cool is that to see something that you pour your heart and soul in, it come to life, and something that really is created basically with ideas, and sometimes you brainstorm, you come up with these ideas. What's your favorite part of that process of songwriting? What do you enjoy most?
It's amazing. Honestly, I think it's what keeps us all in it for so long is because every time you write a song, it's different and it's never started in the same way or ended in the same way or happens in the same way. And every time by the end you listen down and you're like, we just created something that didn't exist, 4 or 5, 6 hours ago. But I think my favorite part about it is how it's always different. Like as a child, I don't like routine. Like I was always rearranging my room and wanting to go to bed at different times and all this stuff. And I think I love that about songwriting, that it's never the same. It's not monotonous in any way. It's always a surprise.
For the country music fans that don't know, talk about your growing up and kind of where you come from. Definitely seemed like music kind of hit you at an early age, the country music especially. But your blend now of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you got a huge, just amazing sound out there, and just angelic voice. But the production of these songs are fantastic, and it seems like you found your sound and the type of artist you wanted to be at a very young age. Talk about that for me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to such a conglomerate of stuff. It was never just pop or just country. It was always classical and rap and country and pop. So it did take me a long time to center in on what I wanted and what I loved and what I wanted to say as an artist. But I feel really lucky to have such a wide span of influences. And I feel lucky to get to do this as my job every day. It's amazing.
I love it too. Yeah, and that's a cool thing is so much talent now is in the business. You look at this female movement now with Lainey and Lindsay L, and of course you got Ashley McBride and Carly Pierce, and I can't remember, maybe back to '90s country a little bit. Sarah Evans, and you get a little bit of that Lori Morgan, Terry Clark kind of feel back into Shania Twain, Faith Hill, when it was big in the '90s, and you saw that shift of women's movement probably from, I guess, 92 to 95, and I'm just ballparking that. It could be a little bit longer or even before. But now we're seeing more females get played on the radio. How cool is that for the industry? And that's a big, big kind of, milestone for the industry now, too.
Huge. Yeah, huge. I think every day we move in closer to that direction, and it's incredible, and it's amazing to be able to have a voice and say things that matter.
That's due to the great songwriters out there too that make it happen, and writers like yourself. Let's talk about River and dive into this one, because I know this came out in June of this year. You got to do, I believe, a lyric video with this at the same time, which was really cool. Love this too. Talk about River and kind of its existence and a little backstory.
Yeah, River was a fun one for me because I'm such a sucker for sad songs. And River was one of the first times I genuinely just got to release a fun summer jam. I wrote it with Lydia Vaughn, who's so talented, and Carlo Colasaco, who's equally as talented. They're so incredible. We wrote it on Zoom, funny enough, because COVID had just hit. And the music video was so fun. Obviously, we filmed it on a literal river, which was really, really fun. And I love like bringing. I'm such a visual person, so when I write, I kind of see like movies in my head. So it was really
Hmm.
cool to be able to bring that vision to life and have it so equally matched to what was actually in my head. But I love that song. So fun to sing.
I love it, dude. I love the picture too. Y'all took a great photo of this too for people that haven't seen it too, and it's just amazing too. It's fun to do photography for these singles. I mean, the ideas that come up with this and the
So
photography.
fun.
Talk about that too, because this one for River is like just having so much fun. The blue lettering, and of course the I guess the orange kind of trousers you're wearing with the big high heels that are on your feet too, kind of doing that little split thing. Talk about the photography and that and the making of that.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually like a day at the beginning of the year where, obviously it's like really efficient if you go in and take all your photos at once. So that was like a 10-hour day where we just took so many photos, whatever. But
Hmm.
in the back of my mind, I was always thinking about that outfit for that song because it just felt so fun and like fresh and cool. And I used to be a dancer, so we were kind of trying out some like fun poses and stuff. And yeah, that was just such a fun day. I like all my favorite artists growing up had such a visual identity.
Hmm.
And so I just love to be able to like express myself through clothes and design and whatever.
It's a fashion is a important part of it too. It makes me think about some of the shows that are out there now with American Idol and The Voice. So they have stylists on there now. They're teaching them to become not just an artist and not just be able to sing, but have stage presence and choose the right
Totally.
wardrobe. I think those are cool
Totally.
for the industry because now it's giving artists a chance they may not otherwise have to showcase their complete package. Would you agree?
I totally agree. Totally.
Those are just fantastic shows. I love it too. Now I've got to ask you about one that was a debut single, which I loved a lot, and is one of your hugely streamed songs, which is "She's Mine," which was 2021. Talk about that one for me.
Yeah, I mean, She's Mine is the first song I ever put out as an artist. So big, I don't know, milestone for me. And one of the first songs I wrote in Nashville, wrote it with my friend Daniel Ross. He produced it too. And that was just a special time because it was the first time that, like, I had put myself out there on the internet and I had been met back with like thousands of comments and people who felt the same way. And when you write these songs, you write them because you kind of feel alone in what you're feeling. And so then to have it felt like a million warm hugs, just being
Hmm.
like, been there, seen that. So that was the first time that I was getting like a assurance back from the universe that like you are saying things that people relate to, and it's important for you to do that and show that like being vulnerable is powerful and not a bad thing. It's a good thing. So.
Now talk about. I believe I'm not sure if you got the call. Maybe I read somewhere too that the Grand Ole Opry has the Grand Ole Opry called you. Have you played the Opry in that center circle? I believe you have because I see the smile
I have, yeah. I got to make my Opry debut this year
this
on
year.
my dad's birthday, which was so special. It was March 31st,
Hmm.
2023. I'll never forget it. But they're actually having me back next week on November
Okay.
7th. So I'm
All right.
excited. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that too. Now, what was that like? I mean, you get to kind of obviously on Dad's birthday to kind of elaborate a little bit more, but stepping in that center circle for the first time, knowing your name was right there amongst the greats and the heroes and the legends of country music who've stepped inside that circle, that feeling had to just be surreal, right?
Insane. Like I immediately just wanted to like cry, but I was
Hmm.
like, hold it together, girl. You got to sing for the next 10 minutes. Um, but it's crazy. Like I moved to Nashville at 18 and I would go on the tours of the Ryman and the tours of the
Hmm.
Grand Ole Opry. And you're in these empty, massive theaters and you're like, if I'm lucky enough, one day I'll be able
Hmm.
to play here. And so like only 5 years after I'd moved to town playing it, like it felt like a fever dream. The whole night felt like a fever dream. It was amazing.
I talked to my buddy Randall King. I was actually there. You said March 31st. I happened to be there 2 weeks before that, March 15th. We got
Nice.
there, saw his 1 year to date, second time he'd stepped on the stage. And then, of course, Jeannie Seeley was there and a couple others. They had Low Cash, and I forget, I think the headliner was, Brantley Gilbert. So seeing that for the first time and seeing the entire show was fantastic. So I just missed you there back
Yeah,
in
that's
March,
crazy.
March 15th there too, which
That's
was cool
amazing.
during all the country radio seminar. Cool stuff there. We got more with Lauren here on the backstage pass. We'll take a quick timeout for our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. And of course, the single is out across all the digital platforms. Make sure you go check that out today, too, as well, because always Friday is great single release day, and give her a like across all the social media platforms. And of course, the opera performance coming up there next week or so for Lauren, her second time on the center circle stage at the Grand Ole Opry. Quick timeout here. We're back. It's the Backstage Pass powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And of course, out there at HighTideCountry.net, presented by our friends at Honky Tonk Texas and Bangtail Whiskey. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, single release day with Lauren Weintraub. Of course, all across the digital platforms. Find the new single out there too, and definitely give her a like at the social media websites out there, LaurenWeintraub.com too as well. So I got to ask you about this one, Missing You, because this was another one that kind of went viral out there too at the same time. It was very special for country music fans, and I love the writing behind this. And I believe this was 2022. You guys had put this out. I love the making of this one.
Thank you. Yeah. I put that one on the internet the day I wrote it, which was funny. And it immediately just got a lot of people relating to it and reactions and engagement. And so I kind of just kept putting it out there for almost 9 months. I made people crazy. But I was really excited when I finally got to put it out because that one is just so real. It's so real, and I was so feeling what that song is about in the moment that we wrote it, so it was really cool to get to release it so close to when I was still actually going through that thing. It feels like a lot of the time I'm releasing music like a year or two later and that drama in my life is over, but it was all still so real when this was all happening, and so it was really special for that reason. Yeah.
I love another one this year that you guys had back in February that was just really awesome too, and this is something to where people can really resonate and get a feeling of a song like this, People Like Me, which came out back in February. Break this one down for us a little bit for the fans out there.
Yeah, I mean, that one means a lot to me because it was the first time I kind of got to say something and make a statement that wasn't about my love life or my personal life, whatever. It was just really how I feel and how I look at the world, and we got to make a beautiful music video for it with, I think, 15 to 20 extras in it that were like so cool, so fun to hang out with. And that song will always be really special to me. Yeah.
You know, the holidays are coming up over the next few weeks with Thanksgiving and, of course, Christmas. What are you looking forward most to? I mean, obviously writing this single, and I guess some goals and things that you've got set for yourself as we close the rest of 23 and go into 24. Kind of what's on your to-do list? What are you most excited about as we close this year and head to 2024?
Oh, my gosh. Kind of just finish up things I'm working on in Scheme for the next year, but I think just really challenge myself to show up as the most authentic version of myself all of next year without fear, and I'm really excited to see what that looks like for my artistry. I think some cool things are gonna be coming, so yeah.
You know, the holiday season's coming up here too, and I remember you released a Christmas song. It was Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which was fantastic, and everybody always has me ask that question to artists. Any future plans for more Christmas music? Does it interest you? Is it something? I mean, you sounded great on that song, one of the Christmas classics, one of the greats of all time. I mean, I'm sure you love the holiday season, one, and then two, more plans to release more future Christmas music.
I think definitely I've like written some Christmas songs, and so not this year, but maybe in the years following, I would like record them and put them out. I'd just be loving Christmas. Christmas is such a fun time. I would cover more Christmas songs of like female powerhouse singers that I love. I would definitely do that. Yeah.
I like that too. And I can't wait to hear more of those too. Like I said, all these songs are available across the digital platforms. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it because it's a really just an awesome EP out there. This is Your Brain on Love too, a song Boston, which you guys released as a single and then included as the lead-off single for this particular EP. Good to see again, great catalog of songs here, and some of the ones we've talked about already, Missing You's on there too. But that body of work, that catalog, you know, to see things just keep getting put out, and how one single, I know the goal is for artists that get told on the show a lot is to improve on what you did before. Never rest on your laurels. You hope the next single's better than the first one, and of course all the successions that you release You want the new one to be better than the one that came before it too. But all these songs have a special place in your heart. Give me some highlights of that EP, and I'm sure you guys still work a lot of these songs into your live performances.
Yeah, all of them are in our set. But I would say like two of the songs that weren't really focus tracks on there are Over Her, Over Here, and Before We Knew Too Much. And those were never singles, but I love those songs. Over Her, Over Here is probably one of my favorite songs I've ever released. It's such a banger. It's got a little bit of like rock influence in it. And I love that song. And then Before We Knew Too Much is like this special throwback nostalgic song about my first high school love, and the lyrics in there just are, I love the lyrics of that song, and we have like a really special moment in our live set where we get to play that song. So that EP was special. You know, you can only make your first project once, and so I just wanted to make sure it was great, and I still love it to this day. So
And I tell you, one that stood it out for a lot of fans, they loved it too, was Not Like I'm in Love with You. And this is one that stood out for me too, and had depending on where you listen to your music too, you really speak the truth on that too when it comes to this song. And it's almost like preach to the choir, say those words. You really mean those lyrics. You make the audience feel those lyrics. It's such a very kind of an anthem out there too, as I described this particular song.
yeah, I love that song. That song's, whew, it's so fun to play live. I feel like people relate to that song in like such a way, like in more of a way than they do with other songs, where it's like when you're going through something like that and you have feelings for someone and you're scared to tell them, it's like you just feel like at all times you're like a Coke bottle that's gonna like explode. And I feel like that's why people like so just passionately relate to that song. So yeah.
Also, the lead off track there, we'll talk about X Appeal here in a little bit too, but Boston in itself too was another one of those songs that really kind of set the tone for the record there too. And everybody always wants that, kind of like a leadoff hitter in baseball. You want that guy to get on base and get on, get over, get in, get driven in too. But this song was really setting the tone for me, and Boston was kind of a great feel to start that particular EP.
Yeah, Boston was one of the first songs I wrote where I knew I wanted to, not that I knew I wanted to be an artist, I always knew I wanted to be an artist, but that I felt like I finally had something to come out and say. So yeah.
And you, no doubt, X Appeal. And let's say this, a single before it got on the record here. This is another one of those anthem type feel good songs. It's out there, I guess, depending on the way you look at it too at the same time. But I want to say feel good all the way, but it's sending a message in a way that people can really resonate with, right?
Absolutely. I love that song. Got to write it with some of my heroes, and I just love how cheeky it is. A little spicy.
It's got a little spice to it. You know, every song out there, your blend is so fantastic. I talk about that too, and kind of when you knew you wanted to be an artist too. Some of those from the early, I guess, 2000s, as far as different artists that kind of did it for you. Who made you tick growing up too? Was it a blend of 90s country to early 2000s? Taylor Swift in there as far as an influence goes?
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Swift was the first concert I ever got to see, so I'd be like crazy if I said she wasn't an influence. She's absolutely an influence. In country, like Shania Twain, Maren Morris, when she was first coming out, I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. When it comes to other artists like Michelle Branch, Avril Lavigne, Pink, Katy Perry come to mind. So I feel like kind of a hodgepodge of all of that.
I love that. You know, we just passed the 50th anniversary of the CMA Fest, which took place there. Get to see all the great show stuff at Nissan Stadium. And one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was seeing a Luke Combs, as big as he's just dominating the industry now from the male artist perspective. And then out behind the curtain comes one of the legends, Vince Gill, to kind of stand on stage with him. And we're seeing more of this collaborations. And it was kind of cool to see Miranda Lambert, Avril Lavigne. I guess kind of a two-part here. How important is that in the industry now to have that collaboration? And two, there's a good side to it because I really feel like it showcases both artists in a way that some people may not see, right?
Yeah, I think like it's so cool. And it's always those artists when they collab, they always respect each other so much. And often like some of the times one person grew up listening to another one of the artists. So I just think it's cool to see how music evolves and nothing is ever fully original. It's always a mix of influences. And so it's really cool to see, like I'm always looking up my favorite artists and then trying to figure out who their influences are. Because I'm like, how can we trace this back to like the original OG influence? So it's pretty cool, yeah.
I think they're definitely a very important part of the business out there too, and we're seeing it kind of grow more and more as one artist get two. Like they say, two heads are better than one sometimes, and outcomes get created a beautiful song or two, and you never know what's going to be a part of a record out there too to affect the country music fans in a positive or negative way too. Hopefully, in a positive way, they can really resonate with the songs that each artist does put out. I love the individuality. Say that 5 times fast, but I love that individuality from each artist now because they're bringing their own kind of blend. That's what makes the industry so fun now. You got a little bit of pop country, they call it bro country movement, and that classic country is making a little bit of a comeback. Vinyl, I still collect vinyl records. I love those because
Good for you.
got the old record player, and for some of them, I get them signed and leave in the plastic. So it's just a
Amazing.
cool thing. I'm actually going to come back and talk about some of your hobbies too, a little rapid fire segment, and we'll get to some of those cool things, food questions and things like that. Rapid fire coming up here. It is the Backstage Pass final timeout here. Lauren Weintraub on the show. It's Friday, new music release day. Make sure you guys go check out the new song across all the digital platforms, download and stream wherever you get your music. It is the Backstage Pass powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com and out there at hightidecountry.net, presented by our friends at Honky Tonk Texas and, of course, Bangtail Whiskey. Coming right back. Final segment coming up. Hang tight.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the Backstage Pass, of course, TGIF, Lauren Weintraub here joining us here. If You're Going to Break My Heart, the latest single from Lauren out there across all the digital platforms. And check out laurenweintraub.com. We're back here presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Honky Tonk Texas. You can find us powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com and out there, too, at hightidecountry.net here. So for fun, when not doing music, what are some of those Lauren Weintraub, those hobbies out there?
Oh, one of my hobbies? Surfing. I love to surf. Crocheting. I'm a grandma. Crocheting, knitting, the whole thing. Rollerblading, skateboarding, baking, and reading. Those are probably my favorites.
I love those. Just a little bit of everything, man. You got that variety like your songs. A little bit of spice in there, too. Hey, speaking of spice, I got to talk remiss if I didn't say this. Food-wise, cooking or takeout, a little bit of both. What are some of your favorite foods? What do you like to do? What do you like to eat?
If I could, I'd cook every night.
I know the feeling.
Obviously, that doesn't work with my schedule. Like when we're on the road, it's Taco Bell. If I could, I would cook every night just because I love to like know what's going into my food, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm a big just like get a protein, vegetable, rice up in there. Nothing crazy. I'm more like if I'm going to bake, I want to bake like sweets or breakfast tacos. Yeah.
All right. Now, see, they opened up a little breakfast taco stand here in Texas, and it was actually inside a gas station. So I pulled over one morning, and I was like, if I want to try that, I'm like you, I want to know what's in my food. And okay, Taco Bell's in. Okay. But I walked in there, and I got the gas, homemade tortillas, like
wow,
pressed everything, like flour. I mean, just like grandma would do, of course. And then the different variety. I mean, bacon and egg taco, chorizo. They had picadillo, which was like the ground beef and potato. Like these were authentic tacos they were making. A little bit greasy on the side there too. Chipotle and like some egg, like the sauce was like, this is good stuff. It'd probably be something you would like too, right?
Oh yeah, sign me up.
Those greasy breakfast tacos. Hey, do you remember the first song you ever sang live on stage?
I Hope You Dance.
Ooh, all right. I like that too. Remember that was famously made by a great country singer in her own right, Leanne Womack. No doubt about that too. And like I said, could be something coming here in the works with Leanne Womack coming up here in the future on the Backstage Pass. Can't make the announcement yet, but something we're working on behind the scenes too as well. Let me do this. As far as pizza, everybody loves pizza. What toppings go on the Lauren Weintraub pizza?
Pineapple.
Okay. See, a lot of people are going to the Hawaiian flavor now? Do you do the whole Hawaiian thing with the Canadian bacon, or just
I don't need the Canadian bacon. I just need the pineapple. So I could do like pineapple and pepperoni, or pineapple and Canadian bacon, or pineapple and bacon. Really, anything as long as the pineapple is on there.
all right? See, I like that sweet salty thing, and sometimes because for me it'd be hard to continually eat it. I probably could do a slice, but like just pineapple. But hey, kudos to you for that too, because I'd have to have that sweet salty kind of flavor. And I just actually hit Hawaiian for the first time because I'm a carnivore. Like I said, no surprise there. Love to eat the meats on the pizza, but the Hawaiian pizza, somebody kept saying, try it, try it, try it. Finally did. Don't knock it till you try it. And guess what? I was pretty blown away. She's like, sign language. There it is. You'd love it.
Yeah. Like
Pineapple.
when we're on the road and I want pineapple pizza, like we will be getting pineapple pizza, and then my bandmates will be hungry, and I'll be like, well, beggars can't be choosers. You have to have the pineapple pizza.
I'm gonna order one just for the wife. Now coming up here the next week or so. Hey, look, being on stage, every artist has their own kind of demeanor. You know what they bring to it. They love it. The performance style. What do you enjoy most about being on stage, and then the performance side of it? What kind of makes you tick as a performer? What is it?
I just love understanding what makes a good moment. Like in the past 2-3 years, have become very obsessed with comedians. I think because their job is so hard, and if they fail, they have to fail publicly, and like people just won't laugh. No matter what we do, people will clap 99% of the time, and like comedians, that's not the case. So I find what they do very fascinating, and like humor also, but also just like making good moments on stage and figuring out what makes something special and what makes someone really connect to it, as opposed to you just them feeling like you're singing at them. You want them to feel like connected. So always trying to figure out how to make a venue feel like a home.
I love it too. I can't wait. I can't wait. I say one of my favorite things out there is to like go to the merch stand before I see my favorite performer in concert, just to be out there, because I love looking at all the styles, and kind of like you with the fashion stuff. Now I'm nowhere near you when it comes to fashion, but instead of checking out the designs, the t-shirts, things like that. So sign me up for a Lauren Weintraub t-shirt at a show.
Absolutely.
Gotta grab one of those because I love some of the things you do with your logos and things like that too, and of course all the different album covers out there too. Hey, favorite show to binge watch? What do you get into?
Lately, it has been Breaking Bad.
Okay, see, I like that. I can watch that every day.
Yeah, I had never seen it until about 6 months ago, so I'm very into it. Yeah.
And you finished it all, right? Everything was.
I haven't finished it all, but I'm close.
Ooh, I won't leave it right
So
there.
tell me nothing. Don't tell me anything.
We'll leave it right there. Say nothing too, because that's one you can watch over and over again too. That's why I asked how far you were into it too. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm into this latest single, If You're Gonna Break My Heart, which is across all the digital platforms. She's a rising superstar in country music out there too. Already played the Opry twice, coming out next week. Debut was March 31st of this year, and we just missed her there after I was there March 15th, but hopefully I'll have a chance to catch her again down the stretch one day. Check her out on the road, LaurenWeintraub.com, for all the tour dates and merchandise out there too on that very website. Hey, I appreciate you being a part of this. See, I told you this is painless. It's always fun, right?
So fun. So fun. Easy. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday too. November 3rd for all the single release. We're back the following week with another set of shows, and we'll take off the week of Thanksgiving as I find my tail over in Arizona, out and enjoying a little bit of the desert time out there too, for one of the best times of the year. Thanks to our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas, and the fine folks at HighTideCountry.net. We're powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. It is the Backstage Pass. Thanks to Lauren and her entire camp. We'll get her back as soon as the new projects come out again, 2024. That's one thing about musicians. They never rest on those laurels, too, putting out all the great music out there, too. Happy holidays to you and the family, Lauren. Sure appreciate you being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You got it. The one, the only Lauren Weintraub here on the show. We're back next week. It is the Backstage Pass. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.